It's my feel-good breakfast show.
That gorgeous laughter hopefully has set the tone and brought a smile to your face, albeit we are going to enter into quite an emotional conversation right now. Sunday, the 17th of November, is World Prematurity Day. Premature birth is on the rise, and this has obviously many implications. Now, according to the World Health Organization, premature birth is the leading cause of death in children under the age of 5 worldwide. I said emotional. And on today's Baby Talk, we are joined by Paediatric Dietitian and old friend, Kath Megaw, and a unit manager at a neonatal intensive care unit, so she gets a front row experience of this, Sister Lesley Matthews, for some insights, and I suppose to share empathy, because it's got to be one of the most difficult experiences for any family, any parent. Surely
Absolutely.
it is the most, as a parent, as someone who's got a little one, it must be immense.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, tell me, when is a baby actually considered to be premature?
So we normally say you're premature if you're born before 37 weeks.
Okay.
And weigh less than 2.5 kilograms. And then you get your micro-prems, which are born before 28 weeks, and normally weigh less than 1,000 grams.
I mean, I've heard of instances where you're talking 500, 600 grams,
yeah.
which is, you can scarcely wrap your head around the dimensions. That makes the role of a neonatal intensive care unit absolutely vital. Lesley, I want to ask you, how do you do what you do? How do you work in that space? But I think we have to begin with what the role of a care unit like that is. What do you do?
Well, as a neonatal nurse, my role encompasses taking care of very small, very sick babies, newborn babies, neonatal, premature babies. We take care of the basic needs of these babies, which could be feeding, basics like nappy changes. We do the more intensive care part, which is coordinating medical treatment with the neonatologist. We provide care for the family, mom, dad, and extended family. Provide care.
That must be so selfless, because you are literally there with like this little babies, and it's not just the baby, it is of course the family and everyone that is concerned for you know, the little human being. But we spoke about a little bit about statistics, but statistically, how many kids are born internationally and worldwide and at home,
Locally,
like locally, that is born prematurely?
So in a middle income country like South Africa and in your African countries, you're looking at about a percentage of 15% of live births are premature.
Sure, so that's quite
in your first world
amount,
countries, it's about half, about 7%. But the sad thing is it's actually on the increase versus the decrease.
Why is that? What are the factors that can lead to premature labour and needing to take that step to actually get to the point of birth, and why is it on the rise, do you think?
Well, obviously, inadequate antenatal care, so people don't have access to good prenatal care. Things like, you know, obesity, smoking, taking drugs, alcohol abuse, so lifestyle.
Quite extreme lifestyle components.
But then it's also just, it happens as well. And I think that's a lot of what we deal with in our units, where the parents feel so guilty, and actually it's had nothing to do with them or nothing that they could prevent.
I'm sure you see it all as well, Lesley. What is some of the biggest challenges that you do see in the Nicu?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is our ethical dilemmas. The field of neonatology has made big advances, which every day things change, and we often are faced with how far do you go? How long can you continue? So it is quite...
How do you pass enter that gateway and pass through that? When is it done via a discussion?
Yes.
Is it, how do you actually come, because it must be surely the most difficult question that you could ask yourself.
Yes.
How do you reach consensus, and what actually happens at that final stage?
Well, it's communication between the the doctor, the neonatologist, the parents. Decisions need to be made, and it needs to be based upon facts and expectations. So the doctor, the family, and the neonatal nurse.
I can imagine there must be, it obviously starts off very rough, but there is going to be joy at the end of it, you know, like it's leading to something bigger and better because they're getting stronger every day.
Some of the strongest little children
Yeah,
out there.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's something to remember, that these are little fighters. And I think part of the decision-making process in each step and along the way is that you fight when they fight. You fight with them and you fight alongside them. And they really are some of the strongest little human beings around. And you can see that feisty character when they kind of come through and they go, and I often have the benefit of following a lot of them up. And it's just amazing to see the tenacity, the willpower, the just meeting their milestones that they might have been so behind on, and how they just are achieving these. And it's such a joyous moment and a moment of celebration when a 25-weeker suddenly starts walking and talking and just interacting with the world on such a level. So it really, that is so inspiring, and I think keeps all of us going that work in the field.
And also, it can bring a family together. I can speak from direct experience with a couple very close to me whose first born was born very much premature, and it's suddenly all of our baggage, everything else just didn't matter anymore. You get real very quickly. And it brought, in effect, brought us all together again after years of not having been that close. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, but it is such a difficult conversation to broach, and I think there is a huge amount of awareness that needs to be circulated in that space, which is what World Prematurity Day is all about, and we're going to continue this discussion in just a moment. Get into more of those factors that might lead to premature birth, but what you do in that instance, and hopefully offer some empathy to parents, to families who are going through that right now.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. It is, of course, your feel-good breakfast show, and we are continuing our chat about, you know, baby talk. And joining us now and discussing what the biggest medical challenges facing premature infants are, and the upcoming Prematurity Day fun walk is Professor Johan Smith, Dr. Gugu Kali, and Jason Falcon of the Tygerberg Hospital Children's Trust. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Taking time out of your busy day having us with us in studio and speaking about such a sensitive topic, but also just raising awareness about this topic.
I think, first of all, I have a huge amount of respect and for what you do, trying to wrap my head around working in the space that you do. So I hope this feels more relaxed to this environment, but I know you all do work very closely together. Prof, I'm going to start with you. You seem like a really fun guy. You haven't stopped smiling since you walked in here. For somebody who works in a space that I think for the uninitiated would seem like a heartbreaking place to be working in. But there is a huge amount of joy because there are success stories. And it comes at great cost. It comes at a great challenge. What are the biggest challenges for premature babies? And we have to add to that their parents, because it is a dual battle that you're fighting.
Yeah, we're looking at premature births born before 37 weeks when a pregnancy, every mother expects to be going to term. And then that expectation is broken off by a sort of interruption of the pregnancy. And we are confronted as doctors with a small, very small, and sometimes very fragile baby.
Minute.
Yes, whose parents might be anxious, might fear what is going to happen. So you have to deal with the family, the little one, as well as yourself in managing those little infants. And yeah, you said I was smiling. We do have fun because we work with kids and we love kids. But yeah, they come with risks, and the risks are the immediate risks in terms of lung problems, brain problems, developmental problems, and so forth, and then immediately the survival issues. And then we have to also deal with the family and their anxiety as well.
I mean, I had anxiety with a normal birth where we had to make a couple of changes as to natural birth or C-section. That was enough to throw us into a tailspin, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, and I want to pose actually a question to you, Dr. Kelly. What does a typical day in the NICU look like? I mean, running around, just take us through a typical day.
Well, it can be quite chaotic. It's very noisy, and for parents, I think, quite intimidating because there's lots of machines, lots of beeping noises. So we try and make it and involve the parents and try and explain to them what is going on with their babies, what all the machines are doing, what all the alarms are about. Because it can be quite scary.
I actually want to ask this. You're saying a lot about machines. Do they do skin-on-skin as well in the NICU?
Yes. Okay. When the babies are stable enough, we encourage the patients to do intermittent skin-to-skin care.
And I would imagine that's therapeutic for baby and for
the
parents as just wanting normalcy. Jason, we're going to get on to, I think, a beautiful day of empathizing and just breathing out, which the walk is all about. But I keep thinking about the long-term consequences, because we know that a prematurely born baby can grow into a very strong, can meet all those milestones. But what can some of the long-term consequences of being born premature be? I don't know who wants to weigh in.
Yeah, Gugu.
So they can have a number of problems. They can have problems with the vision, they can have hearing problems, they can have learning disabilities, they can have cerebral palsy, and as adults they can also have some of the chronic diseases.
And does it become your battle in that initial stage? Are you looking at those consequences going, okay, we need to do this to prevent this? Are you able to play a hand in preventing those long-term consequences at those critical junctures?
Yeah, we always exercise caution and adhere to very strict protocols to minimize any injury that might be incurred. Sort of bring it into balance with the fragility of the infant you're dealing with. Yeah.
I mean, guys, imagine 500 grams. That's a little cube of butter.
Yeah.
That's just mind-blowing. Jason, what's the fun walk all about? Why should people come out and support?
Yeah, so it's important for us as a trust to celebrate Tygerberg Hospital and the doctors, the nurses, and the good work they do there. So the event on Saturday, the World Prematurity Fun Day, is an opportunity for us to do just that, invite the community to come and join us, and just to celebrate the good work that's been done at Tygerberg. So essentially, we will have a 5-kilometer fun walk on the hospital grounds, ending in a bit of a community fair where there's a live stage, live music, lots of local artists performing. We've got the Minister of Health as an ambassador. Dr. Norma French will be there, as well as great lineup of artists like Vicky Sampson, for example. We'll have prizes throughout the day. So yeah, fun day for all.
I love it. Thank you so much for doing it. And thank you for doing the work that you do every day on behalf of every parent that is connected with you guys. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I think I'm still trying to wrap my head around how it is to work in that space. So I have a huge amount of respect for what it is that you do. But we've also put it to our viewers to weigh in as well. And we've had a couple of people really weigh in with, I think, wanting to support parents through this space. So maybe I can relate to this one. Here we go. Tasneen Francis Pillar saying, my baby was born at 32 weeks. She was born the Saturday morning via emergency C-section. She spent 1 month in hospital. That's a long time due to low birth weight and respiratory distress. She weighed 1.5 kilograms at birth. Today, she is 15 months, corrected, and is catching up to her cousins.
That's the stories we want to hear, you know, the success stories. We speak about the bad side to it, but we also just want to speak about the good things, and that she is catching up and now going to live a good life, hopefully a long life with that.
Well, hopefully you have many more success stories like that. Go and enjoy your day. Keep smiling, Prof. And enjoy the fun walk as well. Hopefully a lot of people will come out there to celebrate the good work that you guys do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.